Look at this street map from 1978. It shows the city limits of Grandin, North Dakota, a tiny, isolated grid of blocks sitting out on the prairie. Today, that grid is home to exactly 119 people, and with a median age of 47.1, the population skews significantly older than the rest of the state. Grandin was originally built to support the massive Bonanza farms of the late 19th century. Back then, harvesting 1,000-acre wheat fields required armies of laborers, horses, and localized supply hubs right on the prairie. But the physical markers of that agricultural infrastructure are fading. In the summer of 2025, the town even lost the old CHS yellow elevator, a towering local grain facility that was demolished to clear space. Without the localized workforce of the Bonanza era, or the processing facilities that followed, the original economic engine that built this grid no longer exists. When a municipality loses its primary industry and drops to a population of barely 100 people, the math stops making sense. Paving roads, maintaining water lines, and educating children costs millions. How does a town this small actually afford to keep the lights on? On paper, the town's income data presents a massive gap. Per capita income is $39,000, but median household income is nearly double, topping $82,000. This math balances out during the morning drive. The average resident spends 31.6 minutes commuting to work. Drive half an hour south of Grandin, and you hit the Fargo-Moorhead metro area. Most of the town's working adults are drawing their salaries directly from this urban center. By plugging into a neighboring city's job market, the residents secure their baseline economic survival. The town doesn't need to generate its own industry anymore. It imports its wealth down the highway. Even with stable household incomes, 119 people cannot independently fund an entire municipal ecosystem. Building a local high school alone would bankrupt the residents. So they consolidated. In 1996, Grandin and several surrounding towns surrendered their individual local school buildings. They merged into the Northern Cass School District, sharing the cost of a massive 80-acre educational facility located miles away in Arthur. Resources are managed through the Consolidated Property Tax, the mill levy, set at $259.57. This central pool flows outward. A large chunk subsidizes the shared school district. Another slice funds regional fire protection. The final portion pays regional water districts for heavy drainage infrastructure. Surrendering independent control over these systems is mathematically necessary. Pooling tax dollars across a massive geographic area is the only way a micropopulation can access 21st century civic amenities. We see this regional reliance most clearly during a crisis. In June 2025, a severe windstorm swept across the upper Midwest, directly testing the resilience of these rural networks. The storm inflicted heavy damage across the grid, toppling wooden poles and taking down over 30 structures on a major 230 kilovolt transmission line. Rebuilding that kind of high-voltage infrastructure would instantly ruin a small town's budget. But Grandin is part of the Minn Kota Power Cooperative. The co-op absorbed the blow, deploying line crews and capital from across dozens of member towns to get the substations back online. Against modern climate events and the soaring costs of heavy infrastructure, isolation is fatal. Survival demands a massive, interconnected safety net. Look at the physical footprint of Grandin again. From the air, it looks like a fragile island surrounded by an ocean of agricultural land, but the borders drawn on the map are an illusion. The town's actual perimeter extends 30 minutes south to the Fargo job market, miles to the west for its public schools, and across the entire state to support its power grid. The American microtown operates as a highly adaptable node, thriving on an invisible web of regional cooperation.